Welcome back, students. So, today we are going to discuss human reproduction part 2. So, last class we just discussed up to the spermatogenesis, how a sperm generated and how it just transported in the form of semen and how it going to release through the penis. Up to level we just discussed in the last class. Now we are going to discuss what is the oogenesis and how human female reproductive system functions and how the menstrual cycle and fertilization works, and finally the embryogenesis and partitions. So let's discuss one by one. So first thing, so last class we discussed up to spermatogenesis. Now we start with the oogenesis. So oogenesis is nothing but maturation of the female reproductive cell ovum. So how it get matured in the ovaries. So these actions just happened inside the ovaries. So last class we see how your ovary will be look like. It will be just in adjacent directions of the uterus. So just consider this is one of the ovary. So just consider this is the one of the ovary. So either of the ovaries, only one side you can expect the entry of blood vessels. One side only you can expect the entry of blood vessels. So here we can see multiple number of gamete mother cells. So these are just the cell which just going to mature as a ovum. So gamete mother cells. So in male we discussed like sperms are synthesized, but in female the gamete mother cells are already produced, already presented inside the female body. So just consider a baby, a girl baby is in their mother womb. So just consider a girl baby is in their mother womb means in that position, in that time itself, the gamete mother cells, the necessary gamete mother cells are just produced and stored inside the ovaries of that girl fetus. Okay, so in that place, it will be about millions of gamete mother cells. It will be about millions of gamete mother cells are just presented in the fetus of a girl baby when it is in their mother womb. Once it's get portrays and it's growing during the growing time. During the growing time, the millions of gamete mother cells are just start dividing mitotically. They just start dividing mitotically. Even though it divides, their absolute objective is to just death phase one. So they just start dividing and finally it gets died. Okay, so died, or you can call it as a degenerated. So they are just presented in their ovaries, and during the growing phase from the 0 years to a certain age, it just mitotically dividing and get degenerated instantly. That's what the only action of the gamete mother cells in the ovaries. So up to which level, sir? So up to their puberty age. Up to their puberty age, this was the only phase for gamete mother cells. So it will be up to puberty. So here, so puberty is nothing but a human being is ready for the reproduction. Means they are attaining the puberty age. So females' general puberty age will be around 11, 12 like that. So until then, the gamete mother cells are just start dividing mitotically and instantly they just died. They just degenerated. So when it was on a puberty age means the total count of the gamete mother cells will be just 60 to 80,000. Just 60 to 80,000 only. Only in this level will be remaining when they attain the puberty age. So the remains are get degenerated. Fine. So when a female child attaining the puberty age means their reproductive organs are almost developed. So they are start growing, they are start maturing. So after they attain the adult age like 17 to 19, the reproductive organs are completely developed. Fine. Okay, so let's see. Let's consider that the person is getting matured. They are attaining the puberty means now the gamete mother cells are just that. It will be the number will be 60 to 80k. The number will be when they attain puberty means the major change in their body is the hormonal changes. So what kind of hormonal changes means? The hormonal changes start from the hypothalamus. So just start from the hypothalamus. So what kind of hormones just going to produce means gonadotropin releasing hormone. So when it produce, it just act on pituitary. Just act on the pituitary gland, the master gland. So when it acts on pituitary gland means the pituitary gland will start produce follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, the two important hormones which are involved in reproductive system. We just see the same hormone pattern in male also, but after this level it will be in a different function in female system. Let's discuss one by one. So LH and FSH. So these LH and FSH directly act on the ovaries. They just directly act on the ovaries. So if they act on the ovaries means they just act on the gamete mother cells. Okay. So if they act on the gamete mother cells means they will start maturing. They will start getting maturing. So there is a primary oocytes. So that's the cell which is ready for maturation. So until then it will be just the mitotic divisions. After the primary cell level, they are just entered into a meiotic cell divisions. Okay. So meiotic cell divisions is a reduction division. A 2n cell going to divide into a 4 1n cells. That's what just going to happen. Let's discuss how the meiotic occur inside the ovaries. So it is little bit different from male system. So just consider this is the primary cell means they are just enter into the meiosis. So you know that on the meiosis first stage it will initially divided into two parts. In female system it divided into two irregular cells. So one will be a primary one and other one be the subsidiary one which is almost in an inactive stage. So one will be in an active form. Then after that meiosis 2. So meiosis cell division have two different cycles. So first division and they just reduce it to 1n chromosomes. So now this one only get divided, not this one. Okay. So this just divided into another irregular divisions. So that here's the first one and the second one. It was almost in an inactive state. The second one now divided. It was in a 1n haploid cell, and it's just going to be a mature to be a ovum in ovaries. This is how the cell division just happened inside the ovaries. This is just the basics. We will discuss that in detail in the next session. First listen. So the primary cell is ready to be matured. So the primary cell contains the outer layer that is called follicular space. It has multiple number of follicles are there. If they just going to mature means their outer follicle just going to open up from the cells so that the new cell will release from that and it was a bit matured one than the earlier one. So this is how the maturation process will be there. So if it matures to the secondary follicle means, so here the secondary follicle stage, this is the primary one. So if it is a mature to the secondary follicle means there will be some follicular layers are just removed from there. Okay, so now it reaches the secondary follicle layer, which is this one, the secondary follicle stage. Now, and immediately it transfers to the tertiary follicle stage. Then the tertiary level is here. So the tertiary level, they have a unique nature of a fluid filled space which was highly filled with water like substances. This was a unique one for the tertiary stage. Then finally it has to getting matured. Finally just getting to matured. So when it get matured, it was surrounded by a graphene follicle. So initially some follicles are just removed around the cell. Now finally it just covered with a follicle called graphene. So now it's called graphene follicle stage. So the entire cell is a graphene follicular stage. So inside that the ovum will be there and surrounded by cytoplasmic material. This is how the cell will be there. Fine. So this is just a maturation pattern of that follicles. Then after that it completely matured. After that it completely matured, this graphene follicle is just broken down. So they just going to broken down. Just draw it once again. So it will be like it gets open up and the nucleus and the cytoplasmic content present inside the graphene follicle just released outside the ovaries. They just get released. Fine. So now this process is called. So earlier we discussed about the maturation process or the follicle development. We can call it as. So in this process, the release of the ovum from the graphene follicle. This is the ovum. The release of the ovum from the graphene follicle is called ovulation. This process is called ovulation. Just wait. So this process is called ovulation. So the ovum is get ovulated from the graphene follicle and they are just ready to move into the oviduct, that is the fallopian tube. So we will discuss that next part. Okay, let's listen. So now the graphene follicles is now emptied. The ovum is just released. Now there will be the graphene follicles alone. The empty graphene follicles will be there. This graphene follicle just converted into a temporary gland. Just converted into a temporary gland called corpus luteum. Corpus luteum. That temporary gland called corpus luteum. So gland means they have to secrete something. Okay, they have to secrete something. So what they just going to secrete is progesterone. They just going to secrete progesterone. So progesterone is the one of the important female reproductive organ, and this is the hormone responsible for building up the endometrium layer of the ovary. So endometrium layer we just discussed in the last class that this is the innermost part of the ovary wall. So where the implantation will be happen in next steps in future. Okay. So let's discuss again. So corpus luteum is a temporary gland. They just formed from the graphene follicles, the emptied graphene follicles or the removed graphene follicles. Now they just going to produce progesterone, and this progesterone going to help the ovary for building the endometrium layer. Okay. So now after what will happen, sir? After a certain time, as I already mentioned, it is a temporary gland. So after a certain time, it will reduce to a corpus albicans. It will reduce to a corpus albicans. So now it is in an inactive form. It almost in a degenerated stage. So the corpus luteum just formed into a corpus albicans form. Now it can't produce progesterone. Okay, now it can't just produce progesterone. Just remember this concept. We will discuss the concept in the next topic also. Okay, just remember all the concepts after the ovulation especially. Okay, fine. Okay, guys. So listen. So this is the ovary, one of the ovary, and we have just discussed how the follicles are developed or matured. Okay, so the necessary hormones involved in are FSH and LH. So the more specifically, FSH triggers ovaries to produce estrogen. They just triggered FSH just triggered ovaries to produce estrogen, and this is the one of the important hormone. This caused the ovulation process. This caused the ovulation process. So not only estrogen, LH is also involved in the maturation of the follicles. LH and FSH. Okay. So and estrogen is an important component which involved in the ovulation process. Then after that, the Gruffin follicle just formed into a corpus luteum and they start produces progesterone hormone. And this level we just discussed at this level, and let's discuss the after processes. So just listen guys. So here the ovulated ovum is that they just going to release from the ovaries. Now the released ovum, the ovum released from the ovaries are collected by the fecal-like projections in the ovaries called fimbriae, which we already discussed in a previous class. So fimbriae is a finger-like projections. It's just going to collect the ovum, and the ovum is just going to move inside the regions of oviduct, that is a fallopian tube. The entire thing is a fallopian tube, and the first part of the fallopian tube is infundibulum. So after infundibulum, there is an important location called ambulum. Then after that, the remaining portion is isthmus. Okay, so when the ovum move into the fallopian tube means the location ambula is a place where the fertilization may occur. Okay, so if in the during this time, if the sperm from the male, if enter through the vaginal pathway and they just enter into the uterine cavity, and then just move into the fallopian tube. So if they reaches the ambular region, so if they reaches the ambular region, the sperm and the egg at the same time means they may get fertilized. Okay, if the sperm and the ovum meet at the locations, the ambula means they may get fertilized. They just formed a zygote cell. Okay, so what if the fertilization is not there? Because it is not always a possible one get fertilized. If there is a no sperm availability, means if there is a no couple cell means the ovum will be still there in the ambula without any fertilization process. So what will happen then? Let's discuss what happen if the fertilization is not there. So that is the menstrual phase. That is a menstrual phase. So listen carefully. So we have just discussed that when the corpus luteum is produced means this corpus luteum just going to produce the progesterone. It is going to produce progesterone hormone. These progesterone hormone act on ovaries for building the endometrium layer. That means the innermost layer of the uterus, that is endometrium. So endometrium is the bed-like layer for implantation of the fertilized cells. So the fertilized embryo cells are there means they have to implant over the endometrium. What the ovaries inside the ovary, the corpus luteum just produce the progesterone, and the progesterone just going to form the endometrium layer. So this is just a prevention process. they're just happening at the same time, and the ovaries are moving. If the fertilization not happened means at that time the corpus luteum is just converted to a corpus albicans. Now it is in an inactive stage. The corpus albicans is, so they can't produce progesterone. So if the progesterone level is down means there will be no endometrium layer. So progesterone is the hormone which maintaining the endometrium layer. If the progesterone is not there means, if the progesterone level is going lower means, after that the endometrium layer cannot be no longer. The endometrium layer will not be no longer. Okay, so after that there will be no fertilization. So the egg pod is just moving through the fallopian tube and they're just going to reach the uterus part. In that time, the already produced progesterone level are just preserving the endometrium layer. At certain times, the progesterone level is just going to down, and there will be no protection for the endometrium layer. Now the endometrium layer stop breakdown. So it just stop breakdown. During that, the unfertilized ovum also just join together, and everything released through the vaginal cavity. Vaginal path. Okay, so this is called that menses the menstrual phase we call. Okay, let's discuss how the menstrual phases going on step by step. Okay, the first thing in the menstrual phase is follicular phase. So follicular phase is nothing but the maturation of the follicles. So the maturation of the follicles just start from this position and they just getting matured on the face. So we already studied how the follicles are getting matured. These will be just triggered by the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormones. So in the follicular phase level, the FSH and LH level will be in higher. So there will be the maturation in the follicles. So they are converted to the graphic follicle stage up to the follicle phase. Okay, fine. Then the next stage is ovulation. Next stage is ovulation. So if the graphene follicle is formed means the graphene follicle is just going to rupture and the ovum is going to release, and now this process is called the ovulation process. The ovulation process we are just calling it as a second phase, the ovulatory phase. Ovulatory phase. Sorry, I write it as a ovulation phase. It's a ovulatory phase where the ovulation process occurred. Where the ovulation process occurred. So, as we already mentioned, FSH, LH, they just trigger estrogen, and these are the important hormones for that ovulatory phase. In that time, the FSH, LH, and estrogen are improved even more higher than previous one. Okay, so that's what the ovulatory phase. Then after that, luteal phase. Luteal phase. So luteal phase is nothing but, so after the ovulations, the graphic follicle just form a corpus luteum, a temporary gland. They just start producing progesterone. So the endometrium layer will be formed. So due to the process is just stopped by the corpus luteum. So we call it as a luteal phase. So luteal phase, the progesterone hormone will be getting high and the endometrium layer will be formed. Layer will be formed. Okay? Okay? Now, after the luteal phase. So, at the end of the luteal phase, the corpus luteum just going to form the corpus albicans. They just ready to form a corpus albicans. It's almost a degenerated state, so they can't produce progesterone. So at the end of the luteal phase itself, the progesterone level start decreasing. They just start decreasing at the end of the luteal phase. Then finally the menstrual phase. So finally the menstrual phase. After the luteal phase, the progesterone level drastically decreased in menstrual phase. Just drastically decreased. So there will be a breakdown of endometrium. So I just marking here. Here is the endometrium layers name. So breakdown of endometrium will be happened. Now the broken endometrium things and the unfertilized ovum are just getting released through the uterus and they just reaching the vaginal path and released from the body. Fine. So this process is called menses. Okay, this process is called menses. So this is how the menstrual cycle, menstrual phase going on. Okay, so we can say that the menstrual phase is normally not occur in all the female beings. It only occur after the puberty age. So when they attain the puberty age means their reproductive organs are ready for maturation. Now they will start maturing and the menstrual phase will begins. Okay, so the first menstrual phase for a female child's life, the first menstrual phase is called menarche. Menarche. The first menstrual phase is called menarche. Okay, so and another thing is these menstrual cycle are not a permanent one. It will not last long for the entire life of a female. So it will stop at certain level. It will stop at age of 50 plus. So some people get stopped even at 46, 47. Even that may also happen. Some people get in 48 age also. So in general, it will be approximately about 50 or 50 plus in the age. The female gets reduced in their menstrual phase. So this process is called menopause. 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 So menopause is a period where the menstrual phase is completely stopped. Okay. So menstrual cycle or menstrual phase is just a period between the menarche and menopause. Okay. So this is how the menstrual cycle happened. The most importantly you should notice that how the hormones are playing the part. The hormonal part is very much important for your examinations. So when you are going to write the entire process means you not just writing like the process, the list of the process, and finally the menstrual phase. They will just get released the ovum. Not only like that, you have to mention how the hormones are functioning, how the hormones play a role. That's what very much important for the menstrual phase. Now, so what will happen if the fertilization that happened? So what will happen if the fertilization is successful and the zygote will be formed in the ampulla region? So let's discuss about that. So now it's going to be a pregnancy part if the fertilization is successfully occurred. Okay. Okay, guys. So what if the fertilization happened? Okay, let's discuss. So you can see that the overall image of the female reproductive system. So consider that here is the ovary, and the ovary is just getting matured. So the grafting follicles are formed, and the ovum get released. Okay. So if the ovum get released, means the ovum is just collected by the fimbrium part. Just collected by the fimbrium part, and it moves to the ampulla region. The ovum is just moves to the ampulla regions. So, as we already know, ampulla is the spot for fertilization. So that means if there is a possibility of coupulation, so the sperm will be enters and it eventually have a chance to meet the ovum. Okay. First, let's discuss how a ovum will be look like. So we can see that the ovum is the center part of is the ovum, and after that we can see a thick outer layer, a hard layers of that is a zona pellucida. That is a zona pellucida. Then after that you can see a empty space is there. That's perivitelline space. And after the zona pellucida, the outside zona pellucida, you can see some hair-like cells are there. These are cells of radiata. This is just a radiata cells. So this is how the ovum will be look like in the ampular regions. Okay. So if this ovum have a chances to meet the sperm in the fertilization part like ampulla means, so as we already discussed, there will be millions of sperm will be ejected from the male. So there will be a chance of several thousands of sperm will be reaches the ovum at a certain point. Okay, so let's say like this. Everything is trying to reach the ovum. So some thousands of sperms have a good chance to meet the ovum part. Okay, so the first thing happening is the sperm has to reach the zona pellucida part. So the sperm's head, the head region of the sperm have acrosome, the enzyme called acrosome that we already discussed in the last video. So that acrosome is going to break down the surface membrane of the ovum. Okay, so if the acrosome meets the surface membrane, if the acrosome meets the surface membrane means they're just going to involve in a biochemical reactions. These reactions just give open a path for entry of the nucleus present inside the sperm, not the entire sperm. They're just going to leave the nucleus only. Okay. So if they have any biochemical reactions means that moment the zona pellucida just form a different kind of structure. They just changes their structure so that it form the prevention layer for other sperms. So if one sperm means they are involved in biochemical reactions and the zona pellucida layer just transfers into a just some different chemical structures. Okay. So that this layer, now the new layer after the acrosome reaches the zona pellucida region means now this new layer is just prevention for other sperms. So if one sperm means if other sperms were trying to enter means they can't enter at the time. Okay. So in that case, so if the acrosome just leave the top layer means the nucleus inside the sperm can access to enter to the ovum. Okay, so the ovum also have another nucleus. So this is also a one haploid nucleus. This is another haploid nucleus. Now these both haploid nucleus fuse together and form a new diploid nucleus. Now this cell is fertilizing one. The fertilized cell is called zygote. So you can see that if the sperm successfully reaches the egg means the egg now formed a fertilized one. Now it is a zygote. Now it is a zygote. So you can have some more doubts like how an identical twins are formed, how non-identical twins are formed. So there is a minor difference between identical twins and the non-identical twins. If it is a identical twins means, so you can see that the zygote is there. The zygote is just involved in the mitotic cell divisions after that. If the mitotic cell divisions have any small disturbances, so that may separate into two individual embryos. Okay, two individual embryos. So if there is a two different embryos are going to implant into the endometrium layer means there will be a two babies at the same time. Those are genetically identical, so they are identical twins. Okay, so in case if the non-identical twins means simply a sperm just going to enter into the ovum. If a two ovum just enter instantly, it's just accurately the same time means there will be a possibility of interaction between two sperms with two ovums, two ova cells. There will be possibility. So in that case, they both get implanted into the same ovary at a time. So they just grown as a two different babies and they are not identical twins. They may be in either sexes. One is a male and another is a female like that. So they are just genetically not identical. They are like a normal siblings. Okay, this is how it formed. Okay, let's get into the topic. So now the zygote will be formed. Okay, the first cell formed after the fertilization is the zygote. Okay, so consider that this is a 0th day where the fertilization is happened. Then after that, the first day, the cleavage will be started. The cleavage will be started. So what is the cleavage, sir? Cleavage is nothing but the zygote. So consider that this is a zygote cell, means the zygote cell just going to divide mitotically. They are just going to divide mitotically and form a two cell stage. Now it is a two cell formation. So now your one cord is cleaved and now it formed a two cell. Okay. So this is a two cell stage. So after the zygote, the cell start cleaving, then it just formed a two cell stage and then a four cell stage. So now you cannot call this as a zygote. Now it is a embryo. Now it is a embryo. Then after that there will be a 8 cell stage. There will be 8 cell stage. Approximately 3 to the 4th day, 3rd or 4th day after the fertilization, you can expect it to be a 16 cell stage. You can expect it to be a 16 cell stage. So this we call it as a morula. This we call it as a morula. Then it will start keep on dividing. The embryo just keep on dividing, and about 8 to 9 days, after 8 to 9 days approximately, at that time the morula just formed a blastocyst formation. So blastocyst formation, so at that time it ready to implant into the endometrium layer. Okay, so the blastocyst will be formed the 8 to 9 days and then just get implanted in the endometrium layer. So how they just implanted, sir. So just consider this is the blastocyst a 16 cell stage. Just consider this is the blastocyst a 16 cell stage. So it just moved off their zona pellucida layer. So zona pellucida layer is nothing but is the outer layer of the ovum. It will be there in all the embryos. But in the blastocyst stage, the zona pellucidum just get removed from it. The zona pellucidum just get removed from it. Now the topmost layer is trophoblast. Now the topmost layer is trophoblast. So this layer have some hair-like projections over there. This layer have some hair-like projections over there. These cells just directly attach it to the endometrium layer nearby, and they just start mitotically divide and they clearly attach it to the endometrium part. So this is how the implantation happens. Implantation is the attachment of the fertilized embryo in the endometrium layer. So this is how the implantation occurred. Fine. So it may be in either of the sides, whatever the ovum case. Okay. This is how the implantations occurred. Okay. So now we have some few doubts like that. So what about endometrium now, sir? Endometrium needs progesterone hormone, which is an important one for the maintenance of the endometrium. That's what we studied in the menstrual phase just before. Okay, so what if when progesterone level lowers after the corpus luteum changes into corpus albicans? So that's what we studied in the last time. So if changes into corpus albicans means the progesterone level get reduced and the endometrium layer will be broken down and the menstrual cycle begins, menstrual phase begins. That's what we just studied. So now also the same thing will happen after that ovum release. The corpus luteum will convert to a corpus albicans and the progesterone level gets start decreasing. So what happened now, sir? How the pregnancy is started. So now in that time, the embryo itself the surface of the embryos start producing the necessary hormones for the pregnancy. So what are the hormones means? Like estrogen, progesterone, and human chorionic, then placental lactogen, and the human chorionic gonadotrophin. Okay, so these are the necessary hormones for a active pregnancy. Now these hormones are just produced by the surface of the embryos. So now the progesterones are still at the level, so there will be no breakdown of endometrium. Now the pregnancy can run perfectly. So this is how endometrium layer maintained if fertilization occurred. Okay, now the implantations are just occurred. Now the implanted embryo have to develop. So let's discuss how the embryogenesis or just occurred. So after the embryo just get implanted, at that moment, so you can see the multiple cells are there in the implanted embryo. So now they just start differentiating. So before that, the cells will be the same. The cells, the only function of the cell is just the cell division by mitotic divisions. Okay. So after that they get implanted, the cell layers are getting differentiated. Differentiated means they just formed into a specific type of cells so that they can do only their own functions. So it's just kind of maturations. So they just formed two layers called endoderm and ectoderm. Endoderm and ectoderm. So the two layers are immediately just formed after the implantation. Then after some time, the another layer also formed in between endoderm and ectoderm. That is the mesoderm. Which is the mesoderm. So these we call as triploplastic animal. So mammals are also triploplastic animals. From these three derm layers only, the all the organs are just formed. Okay. So now the cell just going to grow and form the individual organs. Okay. So pregnancy is just divided into three trimesters. Three trimesters. Each trimesters have about 3 months. That means 12 weeks. So one trimester contain 12 weeks. So just about 3 months. Okay. So at the first month, at the end of the first month, the heart will be almost the heart just developed. So in that time, at the first month of the time, we can hear the heart sound of the developing embryo. Okay. So after it get implanted, we are not going to call it as an embryo. Now it is a fetus. Okay. Sorry, we should not call it as embryo. After that, we have to call it as fetus. So at the first month, we can hear the heart sound of the fetus, so that we can recognize the baby is well developed situations. Okay, then after that, if it is a second month means the limbs will be developed. So limbs is nothing but the hands and the legs, the extremities of the body. So that's also well developed after the second month. Then at the end of the third month, or the first trimester, after the first trimester, you can have all the organs are developed. All the organs are developed. So, what about the second and third trimester, sir? Their only job is to for a complete maturation, completion of the organ. So all organs are developed, but they are not a fully functional one. Now they have to mature and they have to be coordinately functioning after that. So during the second and third trimester, the baby is just the fetus is just going to develop. Okay, so when the fetus is somewhat developed in that location, we can see that this much of figures over there. If the fetus is almost developed, means we can see the fetus in this kind of appearances inside the uterus. So here is the uterus, and the uterus forms. So you can see the chorionic structures. So inside only the embryo will be developed. So you can see the hand structures. This is a placental villi. So through the placental villi, the placenta region just get all the necessary nutrients from the mother body for to carry them to the fetus. So after the placenta, the nutrition and all the necessary elements will carry through the umbilical cord. Then it reaches the embryo, and the embryo just developed in a yolk sac like content. The remaining yolk sac will be just there here. Fine. So this is how a fetus will be look like almost in a well developed stage. Fine. So this part is cervical regions. Okay. So this is how the whole fetus is developed. So after the fetus development, after the fetus developed up to the certain level, when it was in a third trimester, means the all extremities like hands, legs, and hair like structures are just well developed. Now the baby is trying to move, and the next step is the partition. Partition is the childbirth processes. Let's discuss how the childbirth process will be. Okay, I'm just going to erase this. Okay, fine. So, as we all know that for every process there will be a hormonal behind that. Okay, so for everything, the embryo, the fetus and embryos, they are just producing the hormones like progesterone or human chorionic chronotropin, like kind of hormones. Now, at the end of the phase, at the end phase, when the fetus is almost grown, in that situation, so you can see that the uterus is enlarging, right? So the uterus is enlarging. For that, the muscles of the uterus have to be relaxed. When the fetus is growing, like a second trimester or third trimester stage, the fetus surface has to produce also a additional hormone called relaxin. So relaxin is a hormone which just going to relax the muscles of the uterus so that the muscles get relaxed and the fetus can grow even higher. Okay, so the relaxin is just going to produce and the fetus is just growing when it reaches the final stage. So the uterus have certain limits. We can't enlarge it like that much, like whatever we want. So it will enlarge only to the certain level. In that level, the fetus reaches the maximum size, and the relaxin also can no longer be worked on uterus. So the uterus get a little much pressure over that. So if the fetus grown means now the uterus no longer relaxed. So it just gets some pushing pressure like from the uterus. So from the fetus, when the uterus experiencing those pressure means now our pituitary gland. Now the pituitary gland just get activated when the muscles get tension force like pressure like forces that. So if the message reaches the pituitary means the pituitary will start producing oxytocin, a hormone called oxytocin, which is one of the important hormone. These oxytocin act on the walls of the embryos. Now the oxytocin just contract the muscles of the uterus. So now the muscles are getting contracted by the oxytocin. You will go relax and act on that. Now oxytocin working just try to contract the muscles of the uterus. So what will happen then? Now already the fetus is in almost a perfect shape. So then only they were just giving some pressure over the balls. Now the oxytocin is trying to compress the fetus. Now the fetus will give more pressure over the ball. Now the pressure will be getting more. So when oxytocin produced, so there will be no pressure on ball. So these also once again giving information to pituitary. So there is a more pressure on all things. There will be a more production of oxytocin. Then once again, then more pressure over the fetus. So now the uterus is just going to contract vigorously after that. Then after that, there will be once again signal to the pituitary. Then the oxytocin will produce more vigorously as possible. So in that situation, it's going to just contract the fetus so that the only way for fetus is to just release it to the vaginal path. So the only option is the partition. So in that time, the fetus is almost developed, their limbs are developed, so they just try to move through the uterus. The only way is the vaginal path. Now they are going to release from the mother body. So this process called partition. So this is mainly done by the hormone oxytocin. So clear guys? So now let's see. So what happened after the partition? So if the baby just released from the mother body means now there will be a rest of oxytocin as there. So lots of oxytocin will be there. The baby just get born. Now the breastfeeding have to be started. So after the partition, the oxytocin just getting increased. At the same time, the pituitary gland also produces prolactin, a hormone called prolactin. This prolactin just acted on the mammary gland. So mammary gland, we already discussed in the last class that that's a gland just going to secrete the milk, the lactose. Okay. So that is going to produce lactose only with the triggering of the prolactin. So the prolactin is just going to synthesize the milk. Okay. So even though it synthesizes the milk, it won't get ejected. It just get ejected only when oxytocin act on it. So this is the another function of the oxytocin. So oxytocin just act on the mammary gland to release the milk. Okay. So fundamentally milk get released only if the nipple get damaged by the baby. Okay. So we are calling it as fetus. When it just get formed, you have to call it as a neonatus, a newborn baby like that. Okay. Now it is no longer a fetus when it just get born. Okay. Fine. So this is how the partition process will be happen. So as you all know that, so the mammary gland is initially producing the mother milk with the triggering of the prolactin. Initially, it just produces the milk with enriched with lots of antibodies content and lots of nutritional content. The initial milk produced from the mammary gland is called colostrum. So colostrum is a thick milk fluid. It will almost like a white and yellowish color, and this is the more nutritious than rest of the milks produced in the future. Okay, so that is the colostrum. So the baby have to feed it with the colostrum, and it should be feed with the colostrum. Okay, if it makes the colostrum like component means those baby may get under a very low immune responses. Okay, in futures. Okay, so this is how the partition will happen, and this is how after the partition the mother milk will be produced. Okay, so guys, so now you have just understood the concepts of human reproduction. So in next class we will discuss about the reproductive health. Thank you.